Hello, welcome for another edition of the new releases from the Librarian Book Club picks. I'm here with Lady Smith from the Snail on the Wall, our local independent bookstore, and lots more fun things in Huntsville. And I also have with me, you'll see in a moment, Amanda Campbell, one of the librarians at the Huntsville-Madison County Public Library. And I'm Annie Phillips, another librarian. And we are going to be talking about the books that we're super excited about that are coming out in September. So really, really soon. And each of us will go through about 5 picks. And then at the end, we'll have our Librarian Book Club pick for the month that we're excited about. So I'm going to get started with mine. And as I always say, it's really hard to pick. These are definitely not the best because there's just so many, but these caught my eye for various reasons. I believe all of mine this month, everything's coming out on September 7th, so it's sort of a bumper crop to that day for mine. The first one that I have on hold, I'm excited to read, is The House of Ashes by Stuart Neville. I've never read anything by him before, but he's, I believe, an Irish writer. And this is about a woman named Sarah. She and her husband, Damien, live in England, but he's decided that they need to have a fresh start. And he uproots them and moves them to his native Northern Ireland. And Sarah doesn't know anyone there. She's already in an abusive relationship with her husband. And so they're at this new house in Ireland. And one day this blood-soaked older woman is, banging at the door, insisting that that's her house, and she's taken back away to the care home where she's living. But Sarah, trying to escape her own abuse, develops a relationship with this woman and uncovers some secrets. I think it goes back in time to when the woman is, younger and kind of World War II era. So it just sounds like it's sort of a fascinating thriller / mystery, and I'm looking forward to that. The next one, the cover just caught me with all the beautiful colors and the design. In Every Mirror She's Black. This is by Lola Akinmade Akerstrand. She's Nigerian and lives in Sweden. And this sounds like a fascinating book. It's told from the viewpoints of 3 different women, what it means to be a Black woman in the world. One is a U.S. CEO, and she has to go to Sweden to help this another CEO help clean up a mess of some type. And she's, an amazing, powerful woman in the corporate world, but her love life, not so much. And then another woman who is a model turned flight attendant meets the Swedish guy. His name's Johnny, and becomes sort of the object of his obsession. And then the third woman is a refugee in Sweden, and she's without her family, lost them all, and she's working as a cleaner at the office of this guy. And so it's kind of talking about the different relationships the 3 women have to him, and their world and what's going on there. So it sounds really cool. The third one is by Colm Tóibín, the Irish writer. It's called The Magician. And in fact, Amanda so kindly had given me some ARCs, some advanced reader copies, and it's not wanting to show up. But there we go. I have that. It's called The Magician. I just think it sounds super cool. It's based on fact about the writer Thomas Mann from Germany. It starts, with his childhood, his parents, and kind of an unconventional growing up, but he doesn't fit in. And, he's gay, but he can't, be open with that, early 20th century Germany. And he marries the sister of the man that he's actually in love with. He goes on to have 6 kids. And then, of course, you get into like the Nazi era, and it follows, him, his children, and their movements within the Bohemian and anti-Nazi fascism movements, and then follows him to the U.S. when he escapes And it's like a family saga. I just think it sounds really cool, and I can't wait to read it. The third one, Anne Cleaves, The Heron's Cry. I read the first one in this. This is a new series that she started. It's the Two Rivers series. I read the first one, The Long Call, a couple of years ago. It's about a detective named Matthew Venn. He's in a small North Devon town in England. And, he just investigates. These are his people, his community. These are all people he knows well. And as in the first story, someone that he knows is murdered, and he's having to delicately, work with all the people that he knows and kind of figure out like what's going on. A kind of, I think if you like the Louise Penny books, again, where you've got this small community, you would like this. And Matthew is a very complex and very, relatable character. So I'm excited about The Heron's Cry. And then finally, this one caught my eye, The Summoning by J.P. Smith, kind of a pre-Halloween, maybe a little bit. It sounds a little spooky. The main character was widowed in 9/11. And then 16 years later, she has her daughter. Her daughter's in a coma following an accident. And her life, has just changed so much. She has her acting career never materialized. And she actually works as a medium and holding seances for desperate wealthy clients. But she meets an intriguing guy at a bar, and then things start kind of going sideways. She can't figure out what's happening. It sounds like there's some paranormal stuff happening. So as you can guess with the name The Summoning. So sounds new and interesting, and I'm interested to try it out. So that's my stuff. I am going to turn it over to Amanda and her wonderful nonfiction picks. So there we go.
Hi, everybody. So here are my nonfiction picks for September. First, we have Fuzz by Mary Roach, When Nature Breaks the Law. I'm so excited about this one. I love Mary Roach. She is great at taking scientific topics and making them really accessible and funny. And this one is about the curious science of human-wildlife conflict. It's a discipline that's at the crossroads of human behavior and wildlife biology. I've read a lot of this one already, and it is so good, as usual. I'm a big nature girl, so this is right in my wheelhouse. So here are some of the stories you can expect to hear. She tags along with animal attack forensic investigators, human-elephant conflict specialists, bear managers, and danger tree faller blasters. She travels from leopard-terrorized hamlets in the Indian Himalaya to St. Peter's Square in the early hours before the Pope arrives for Easter Mass, when vandal gulls swoop in to destroy the elaborate floral display. Oh goodness. She taste tests rat bait, learns how to install a vulture effigy, and then gets mugged by a macaque. So adventure had all around, and you're learning stuff along the way. It's going to be so good. This one comes out September 14th. The next one also comes out on September 14th. It's Graceland at Last, Notes on Hope and Heartache from the American South by Margaret Rinkel. She is the author of Late Migrations, which was also beautiful, lovely. Check that out. Margaret Rinkel writes a column for the New York Times weekly, and she does this from her home in Nashville. So she's a local gal. We'll claim her. This collection is more than 60 of the pieces that have appeared in the New York Times. They've been brought together in this new collection. Should appeal to a wide range of readers. If you are interested in nature, these are great for you. Politics, social justice, art, music, family, history, grief, memoir, and environmental justice. And this is a collection of both personal writing and reported essays. So she's also highlighting other voices from the South that are fighting for a better future for our region. So definitely check this one out. Really excited about it. The next one is How to Save a Life, The Inside Story of Grey's Anatomy by Lynette Rice. Okay, I had to pick this one because I've been watching Grey's Anatomy from the beginning. Can you believe it's been on for more than 15 years? It's crazy. So this is a totally unauthorized look behind the scenes. You'll get all of the juicy behind the scenes culture that went on, and talking about how the show started. It was a really humble start. And you'll also read about some of the most heartbreaking departures and polarizing plot lines. You know, there have been so many amazing characters that we fell in love with and had to say goodbye to. So if you need to relive Grey's Anatomy like I do, check this one out. The next one is Vanderbilt by Anderson Cooper and Kathryn Howe. This is the rise and fall of an American dynasty. So in this book, CNN anchor and New York Times bestselling author Anderson Cooper chronicles the rise and fall of a legendary American dynasty, his mother's family, the Vanderbilts. So he works with historian and novelist Kathryn Howe and breathes life into his ancestors. He goes from Staten Island to the drawing rooms of Fifth Avenue, the ornate colleges of Newport to Europe. They recount the family's triumphs and tragedies and reflect on the social mores they observed, flouted, and shaped. They draw on never before seen documents, and it's told from an insider's point of view. So it's a rollicking, quintessentially American history, and this is surely going to be a great piece of history writing and very engaging. So check that one out on September 21st. Now this last one comes out on September 28th. Also so excited for this one. This is Please Don't Sit on My Bed in Your Outside Clothes by Phoebe Robinson. Phoebe Robinson is an author, comedian, actress, and producer, and this is actually the first book that's being released from her own publishing imprint. So really excited for her and this new opportunity to highlight other voices. Such a great opportunity. Her essays are always extremely funny. This is going to be great on audio because when you listen, it's like you're listening to your best friend just tell you their story and their thoughts on things, and they're right in the room with you. So great. Some of the essay topics are going to be human connection, race, hair, travel, dating, Black excellence, and more. This is going to be insightful, laugh out loud funny, and heartfelt. It's a brilliant look at our cultural moment and a collection that's going to stay with you for years to come. Check that one out September 28th. Thanks.
And back here, thank you, Amanda. And I am so excited about all these books too. I read Phoebe Robinson's first book, No You Can't Touch My Hair. And it was, yeah, she's such a great writer, so refreshing and funny. And so I'm excited for more essays and all these other ones. I love Margaret Renkl. You can see her in the New York Times. And of course, Grey's Anatomy and Anderson Cooper and Mary Roach, just all sorts of great stuff. So, okay, well, lady, we've got your books and any sort of things you want to tell us going on with Snail on the Wall, please do. And have at it.
Okay, great. It's great to be here to talk about more fall books. I will start. The first one is one I've read, and then I haven't read any of the other ones. So I have treats in store just like all of you. But the first one is an author that I hope you've heard of, a Southern author, Wiley Cash. His new one is When Ghosts Come Home. He writes wonderful stories of North Carolina and the Appalachian region. And this one is a mystery. This is the kind of book that I think is going to appeal across the board to people that like mysteries, detective stories, Southern writing. Wiley Cash's writing is beautiful and subtly wonderful. And it's a story of this plane that crashes in a small North Carolina town, and there's a dead body. And the sheriff, Winston Barnes, at the center of it, tries to solve the mystery of why why the plane crashed, why there's a dead body, and what happened. In the meantime, he's up for re-election in an election that's got some racially charged elements to it in his town. His wife is dealing with cancer, and his daughter is going through some difficult times. So it's a family story, but also a mystery. And I was totally unprepared for the direction it took. So no spoilers, just make sure and read this one. And we have an event online with him in September. So check out this snailonthewall.com and you'll find how to register for that. It's free and to attend. And we're going to have signed copies of that book. So that's exciting. Okay, the next one is a name that probably needs no introduction. Colson Whitehead, 2-time Pulitzer Prize winner. We have to talk about this new book because everything he writes is so wonderful. This one is going to be to Harlem Shuffle. And this one is a story of heists and in the Harlem neighborhood set in the 60s. So it's got that vintage feel, kind of taking us back a little bit in time. And the person at the center of this story, Freddie, he's a family man now, living a decent life, taking care of his family in a home in Harlem. But he's got a past where he dealt with, some crooks and had some crooked dealings. And so he gets brought into a scheme to rob a hotel, the Hotel Teresa, which is sort of like the Waldorf Hotel of Harlem. And of course, the heist goes wrong. So this is always, Colson Whitehead's writing is always, got great characters, great storyline, sometimes funny, but also with a lot of depth and a lot of things to think about. So we've got these fabulous stickers that come with this. So anyone who pre-orders can get these because he does artwork with his novels. And so anyway, they're great stickers. We're excited about that book. Okay, the next one is The Inheritance of Orcadia Divina. This one is Zoraida Cordova has written many other books, some of them under another romance author pen name. So you may not really recognize her name, but she also has a podcast and she's just involved in a lot of things. She's involved in We Need Diverse Voices organization, but this is a magical realist novel based on a family whose matriarch is Orcadia. And she, at her funeral, she brings the family together to give them their inheritance. And it turns out that inheritance manifests itself in different ways for the different characters over the next few years. And eventually they all go back to Ecuador, where the family is descended from, to try to uncover the secrets of their family's past. So it's filled with, if you like magical realism, if you like family stories about other cultures, this one I think is going to make a big splash in the book world. Everyone's really excited about that. And okay, this next one, let me say that after I turned my book picks in to Annie, I realized this one doesn't come out until October, but that's okay. We're very excited about Patty Callahan Henry. Sometimes she publishes under Patty Callahan, sometimes under Patty Callahan Henry. This one is Patty Callahan, Once Upon a Wardrobe. And we are very excited about it because she is an Alabama author. She's based in Birmingham. This one is with a new imprint of a new publisher. And so it's their first book that they're publishing. So it really is going to be a good one and one that a lot of people are talking about. This one is like her other book that was based on C.S. Lewis's life and his wife. This one is based on C.S. Lewis, but with, again, some magical elements. And it is about a young female scholar in Oxford and her younger brother who starts to read The Lion, the Witch, and the Wardrobe and gets fascinated by it. And at that time, it's set during that time that it was published. So it's new and people didn't know anything about C.S. Lewis. So this brother and sister start having meetings with C.S. Lewis, who was a Don at Oxford, and trying to figure out, is Narnia real and where did Narnia come from? So this one is really one that I think a lot of different ages could read. I could really see, adults reading this with their teens, especially teens that have loved the Narnia Chronicles. So definitely look for this. Sorry, it's not going to be out in September, but it will be out in October, and we are going to have some signed copies of that. So we're excited to welcome that. And then we end with possibly what I think may end up being like the biggest book of the fall. Anthony Diller, you know him from All the Light We Cannot See. This is Cloud Cuckoo Land. And the only reason I haven't read it is because I've heard that it is an investment. Like, you need to start it when you have time to just fall into it, because it is another long epic saga, but people are raving about it, and they're saying it's really a departure from kind of what he did before. It's still historical fiction, but this one is also about time travel. So it's based in 3 completely different times. It's based in 15th century Constantinople, and then it is based in a small town in present day Idaho, and then it is based on an interstellar spaceship decades from now in the future. And in each place, there are characters whose lives end up being intertwined and intersecting. And there's, like I said, there's some time travel involved. And the people that have read it said, I can't believe what's happening, and I love it. I mean, whether you go in for that sort of thing or but his writing is always beautiful, and these characters, like the characters of his previous book, they're dreamers, outsiders looking for their place, and it's ultimately about hope. So even when you've got dark times and danger, it's about hope. So I think that's why people are just raving. So get ready for that one. It's going to be a big one.
Thank you, lady. That's definitely one I'm looking forward to, and also in the stash that Amanda gave me. So he can just, I think he's one of those people, whatever he writes about, he's such a good writer. He can just make it the thing to read. So yeah, I'm kind of waiting where I can just sort of buckle down and just absorb myself because of the time travel and just all of that. It just looks like it's going to be beautiful. And of course, all these other cool ones too. So, well, thank you so much, and for telling us about what's going on with Snail on the Wall. And always,
I'll mention too, since because I love the Margaret Wrinkle book, Graceland at Last, that Amanda talked about, and we will also have a virtual event with Margaret Wrinkle. So there are several September events. Lisa Jewell, some authors that I think people would really enjoy. So check those out on our website and make sure to join, get in on the virtual events, since we're all trying to be safe these days again.
Yes, thank you. And thanks for putting those on. It really makes a difference to be able to still participate, but yeah, do it safely. And that's very exciting about Margaret Wrinkle. I'd love to hear her speak. So, well, this just brings us to the last part, where we always have a monthly pick that we try to kind of advertise. And this is called Fault Lines. It also comes out the 7th. It is by Emily Atami. I hope I'm saying her name right. I tried to make sure I found pronunciations online. So Fault Lines, gorgeous cover. And this is actually set in Japan, in Tokyo, modern Tokyo. And it's called sort of a mix with Sally Rooney and the wit of Helen Fielding, which sounds really cool. And it's about a Japanese housewife named Mizuki. She's her husband works hard. She's got 2 kids, has a wonderful apartment in Tokyo. Everything she could want, except she wonders, she'd rather throw herself off the balcony than spend another evening, not talking to her husband and doing chores. And then one night she meets Kiyoshi, who is a restaurateur, and she finds freedom, friendship, and just sort of that vibe, of, I think we all feel that sometimes. We're like, oh yeah, I remember this feeling of, sort of possibility in youth. And however, the relationship progresses, as you can imagine, and she has to make some choices. But it's getting a lot of buzz. This is her debut, so I'm excited to try it out and hear what other people say. So that's one to look for as well. So hopefully you'll join us in reading that. And I think that wraps us up for September books. I'm glad we got a nice hint of fall with the Patty Callahan book. And so that just leaves more room for more October books to talk about.
It does.
So that'll be exciting because I know there's tons of those coming out. So join us for next month. And I'll turn so Amanda can also say goodbye.
Thank you.
Thanks for joining us, and we'll see you soon.